Hello and welcome to Uncle Online Academy. In today's lesson, we want to look at position, and we are going to study the following under the topic: meaning of position, meaning of distance, meaning of displacement. Then we look at Cartesian plane and distance between 2 points. That is how to calculate the distance between 2 points. Now, position. What is the meaning of position? Position means the location of an object in a space. The location of an object in a space. And whenever we are trying to find the position of a body, we often talk about it or look for it in relative to another body or another position. So you can often talk about the position of your house from your school, the position of your house from the nearest market, position of A from B. So that means that position is often talked about in reference to another position. Now, distance. Distance, on the other hand, means the separation between 2 points. The separation between 2 points is what we call distance. If we have a point A and we have another point B, the separation between 2 of them is what we call distance. And distance is always given in no specific direction. That means the separation of 2 points in no specific direction or direction. That is, the direction of the distance or the separation is not always specified when we are talking about distance. Distance has quantity but has no direction. Quantity is also called magnitude. So distance has magnitude but has no direction. If a body or an object has a quantity or magnitude but it does not have any direction, we say that the object is a scalar quantity. That is, an object that has magnitude without direction is said to be a scalar. So that is the meaning of position, of distance. Now, displacement. Displacement, on the other hand, talks about the distance that is covered in a specified direction. That means that displacement has both direction and magnitude. That means we can get the quantity of displacement and also get its direction. If somebody travels from south to north, we know the direction of the movement or the direction of the separation. Therefore, we say that the distance covered is a displacement because we know the direction of the movement. But when we don't know the direction of the movement, maybe somebody moves from north to south and from south to east and to west, we cannot put the movement in any given direction. We say that it is a distance. But when we know the direction of the movement, we call it displacement. So that is the difference between displacement and the distance. Quantity that we know the direction and the magnitude, we say that the quantity is a vector quantity. So distance is a scalar quantity because we know the magnitude and we don't know the direction. But displacement is a vector quantity because we know both the direction and the magnitude. So that is the meaning of displacement. Now, Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane is a graph that we use to represent the position of bodies in space. It looks like this. We place the position of a body and it helps us to determine the coordinates of the body, and that is what we call Cartesian plane, a graph that shows the direction or the coordinates of a body. We use it to determine the position of a body. Every body in space has coordinates we call x and y coordinates. If you want to locate any object in space, you have to find its x and y coordinates. If this is a graph, the vertical point is called the y coordinates and the horizontal axis is called the x coordinates. So when you trace a position from the x-axis and it meets with a position in y-axis, the junction between two of them is called a coordinates or the location of a body. That is the position. So for you to get the position of a body, you trace the x coordinates and y coordinates of the body, find where the 2 points meet, and that will give you the position of the body. We also use the Cartesian plane to get the distance between two bodies. For us to get the distance between two bodies, we find the x and y coordinates between the two bodies, and then we use the formula distance is equal to the root of x2 minus x1 squared plus we use the formula d, that is distance, is equal to root of x2 where x2 means the coordinates or the x value of the second position, and x1 means the x value of the first position, y2 means the y value of the second position, and y1 means the y value of the first position. Now, for instance, if you have this as a Cartesian plane and we have two bodies A and B, A is located here and B is located here. Now we can find the position of A by tracing the x and y coordinates of A. And we can find the position of B by tracing the x and y coordinates of B. Now to find the distance between A and B, that is going to be D, the distance D. Now the distance D is now what is given as x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now the position of A, we call it has, every point has x and y coordinates. Now for A, which is the first coordinate, you have x value for it is x1 and y value for it is y1. So you have y1, y1. And B, for position B, the x and y values for it are x2, y2. So these are the coordinates of A and B. So we can use these coordinates to determine the distance by taking a square root of the x2 minus x1 plus squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now let's look at some examples. Now if you are told that we have two bodies that are separated and the positions are, let's say that the first body is A and the coordinate of A is 2, 3, and that of B is, position B is at the coordinate of 1, 2. Now what this means is that 2 is x1 and 3 is y1, and that 1 is x2 and 2 is y2 is y2. So we put these values into the formula and then we get the distance. So we are now going to have that distance between the two bodies is equal to root of, what is our x2? x2 is 1. 1 minus x1 is what? x1 is 2. 1 minus 2, everything squared, plus then our y2 is what? Our y2 is 2. 2 minus our y1 is 3. Then everything squared. Now we simplify this and whatever we get will give us the distance between these two bodies. That is now root of 1 minus 2 is minus 1, minus 1 squared, plus 2 minus 3 is equal to minus 1 again, minus 1 squared. So we have minus 1 squared plus minus 1 squared. D is equal to, minus 1 squared is equal to 1 plus minus 1 squared again is 1, which is equal to root 2. So root 2 units is the distance between the points A and B. Now let's have a summary of what we have discussed so far. In this lesson, we've talked about the meaning of position, the meaning of distance, the meaning of displacement, Cartesian plane, and how to calculate the distance between 2 points. And we said that the position of a body means the location of the object in space, and that the position of an object is always taken in reference to another point. Now distance means the separation between 2 points, and that distance has magnitude or quantity but does not have any direction, which means that distance is a scalar quantity. An object or a quantity that has quantity or magnitude without direction, we say that the object or the quantity is a scalar quantity. Now displacement, on the other hand, is the distance that is covered in a given direction. We know the direction and we know the quantity. So displacement is a vector quantity, a quantity that we know the direction and we know the distance. We know the magnitude and we know the direction. We say that the quantity is a vector quantity. That means that displacement is a vector quantity. Now, Cartesian plane is a graph that shows the position of two or more points, like this one that is given here. In a Cartesian plane, we find the x and y coordinates of a point and we use it to determine the position of the object. So if you are looking for the position of any or the location of any object, you look for the x and the y coordinates of the object and you use that to get the position or the location of the object. Now, distance between 2 points, if we have the coordinates of two different locations, we can find the distance between two of them by using the formula x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. The root of it will give us the distance between the two bodies, where x2 means the x coordinates of the second position and x1 means the x coordinates of the first position. Then y2 means the y coordinates of the second position and y1 means the y coordinates of the first position. So when we get the coordinates, the x and y coordinates, put them into this formula and find the root of it, then we get the distance between the two bodies. Then these examples solved, determine the position between two points with the coordinates 2, 1 and 3, 5. So we just get the x1 and x2, y1 and y2 and put them into the formula given, and then we solve to get the distance between the 2 points.